Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities may be available for today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Okay, starting here on the daily, as always, EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. Now what's the daily showing us? Well, yesterday, massive bullish engulfing. I had a short bias because I believed that we were still going to come down and draw towards this imbalance. However, on news, price completely reversed and went bullish. So we're well back up into that premium. It's possible that we're only going to make this shallow pullback and maybe revisit this imbalance and order block at a later date. So massive bullish day. Looks like we're going to be heading for these highs, right? Given that we're so close to it as a weak high, so we may go on to make a higher high. Same on DXY, of course. We pulled back, sort of shallow pullback, mitigating this imbalance just a little bit, and a big bearish day yesterday. All right, previous weekly low not too far away, but again there's more news today, so I'm not going to make any predictions on that. So far today we've taken previous daily high for buy side liquidity on EU. Right, so we had a massive bullish day. Will this cause some sort of pullback for the time being? That's very possible. DXY hasn't quite taken the previous daily low, so there'll be some divergence there. So I don't think there's much more to explain on the daily. Let's go down to the 4 hour, see what that shows us. Okay, here we are on the 4 hour. For the time being, we still have this bullish leg from this low to this high intact. All right, it's possible now this may become a higher low, and then we're going to make a higher high up here. Right, we obviously created this sort of range which held this area, and then we pushed upwards on news, as I mentioned. Now we haven't taken this high quite yet, but internally we're clearly going to have a new bullish leg. So ignoring this discount for now, right, we've had this bullish push, we're in a premium of this leg, and we're going to be in a premium of this internal bullish leg here, right? Because from this area we got this low, swept some internal sell side liquidity, made a new high, higher than these highs here, where we was making these lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? So this is going to be a bullish leg, especially on a 1 hour, it'd be more obvious. But here on the 4 hour, does look like we're heading towards this high, because it'll be more of a weak high now, because we create this high, pulled back to this equilibrium area, and now we're heading towards that high again. So this high failed to break this low, so I see it as weak, and it's a source of buy side liquidity. So this previous daily high doesn't seem to be making price pull back at all just yet, so perhaps it will happen at this previous weekly high. What also is likely to happen, this isn't moving live but we may see it on the 1 hour, is that we're going to reach this previous weekly high before we reach this previous weekly low on DXY. So we may have that SMC divergence that could indicate some weakness in EU, right, from taking this buy side liquidity, and strength in DXY from where it refuses to make that lower low at this time. Now that may be for it to just pull down temporarily into a discount of this leg. Okay, so what's important to me is liquidity, right? So right now I wouldn't be looking to long, right? My bias starting off on the 4 hour is shorts, even though we're in this bullish momentum, this trend, because once we take this buy side liquidity here, I don't want to trade against that, because that may be a sponsor for lower prices. So this may be the buy side liquidity source we need, right? We'll see what price does, but that's where my mind is at the moment. So to summarize, we're in a premium still, we're heading towards possibly this week high, the previous weekly high for buy side liquidity. We have a new internal bullish leg, and we're going to be in a premium of that, and also DXY has broken down bearish as well internally, right? We still have that external leg. So let's go down to the 1 hour and see what that looks like. So zoomed in here on the 1 hour price action, here's that new internal bullish leg, right? We have this low, it swept some internal liquidity, didn't take the entire of the trend line, but it took some lows. Then we broke up, creating a new higher high above all of these highs now. So strong bullish leg, we're in the premium of it. Here's our overnight Asia range, we've come above that. We've taken a buy side liquidity above the previous daily high. That's yet to turn price around, right, and do anything meaningful. So it looks like we may be heading for this previous weekly high, as I said. Now we have that SMC divergence. Why? Because if we look at DXY here, you can see from this low, previous daily low, we're yet to break that and make a lower low, while EU's making that higher high. Okay, so possible signs that this is a liquidity grab here to create lower prices. We don't know how far, but that's what SMC indicates. Especially if we create that high low here, it shows strength that DXY isn't willing to go lower at this area. Another example of that for those that are new to SMC, yesterday where we took that sell side liquidity on EU before going long, we made a lower high on DXY, indicating weakness on DXY because it didn't make a higher high. So from this high to this high, lower high, from this low to this low is a lower low. Sell side liquidity grab, right, strength. Right, failed to make a higher high, weakness. Okay, so I hope that's very clear. So I think it just reiterates what's on the 4 hour. We may go for this previous weekly high, but we'll see how this candle closes and what happens on the lower time frame. We've already taken buy side liquidity, we're in the premium, right, and we have plenty imbalance going on in this leg for us to pull back to some POIs, maybe around here or even lower. My bias will remain short for the moment. I'm just waiting for the lower time frame to switch. Okay, just because I don't want to trade against higher time frame buy side liquidity, especially this previous weekly high, because it is that external high. It's probably going to hold a lot of weight, right? So I wouldn't want to just long against that. That's my opinion, that's my take on things. As for opportunities today, let's go down to the M15 and see what those may look like. Now on the M15, this picture is probably going to keep changing, right? So this SMC, just take it with a pinch of salt at the moment. If we continue up to this previous weekly high, I think it's more than likely we're going to take out this previous weekly low. But the SMC that will come in is going to be on the higher time frame, right? It's going to be from this previous weekly low here to wherever we are in price around that previous daily low. And then obviously from here to that higher high that it may create there. So just jumped back out to the 4 hour for you there. So we're going to have higher time frame SMC still most likely, even if we take this previous weekly high. What would be really nice is if price was to maybe come down a little bit, create a higher low there before taking this previous weekly high, then we get a nice sweep of buy side liquidity and some momentum to break this low as a break of structure. Okay, so that's what I'm waiting for my shorts, right? A break of structure on the M15 preferably as well. But if we take this previous weekly high, because of all the external buy side liquidity there, M5 may look good as well. So this could happen on M5. So and then with possible corrective pullback to our lower time frame order block with imbalance from that momentum where we broke this low, to then continue short to wherever our profit target is. So break a structure around here, buy side liquidity taken above here, possible inducement on the pullback for our lower time frame order block with imbalance where we set our order. So some variation of this is what I will look for. Price may come up and create the structure at the previous weekly high and then break that structure, right, like this, or it may create some sort of internal low on the way up here, but I'm not sure it will. Sweep that buy side liquidity and then break down. There is news of course today as well, so I'm not sure on how price action is going to behave until then. We're going to have our support area here because I think there's a 1 hour order block here as well. Looking at this M15 order block, may see some sort of support there, but again, like I said, I don't really favor trading against previous weekly highs, high time frame SMC, all that external buy side liquidity, right, especially if there's any momentum from there. So yeah, anything like this where price is going to take that buy side liquidity, give us that momentum, break off structure, pull back to go short. And then at that same point, I imagine we're going to get some sell side liquidity sponsorship from DXY, taking out that previous weekly low, and then hopefully that break of structure as well to pull back to go higher into its premium. So I hope that was clear. I hope you gained value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.